So with power cutting, you're going to first start with my roll of fabric is to my left, my raw edge is to my right. I'm going to take my ruler and line up a horizontal line of my ruler on the double fold of my fabric, and I'm going to square off that edge. Okay? Now I'm going to spin it around. I don't want to move. I usually use my smaller mat. I don't want my fabric to move and get all ruffled. I've worked very hard to get this nice and straight. Normally, you would now take, and I'm going to pretend we're doing two-inch strip, all right? Normally, you would lay it here and cut a 2-inch strip. Then you'd move it over, cut a 2-inch strip. Move it over and cut a 2-inch strip. Move it over and cut a 2-inch strip. And have you ever noticed that about that 4th or 5th 2-inch strip, you're no longer cutting strips, you're cutting W's. You open up that strip and it's going like this. It's because you no longer have a straight, square edge. This cut edge, every time you cut it off, you've made a copy of a copy. And when you make a photocopy of a copy and then try to make a copy from that copy again, every time you're losing the resolution. It's not as good of a copy. The exact same thing happens here. With power cutting, you are using the perfectly square cut edge for all of your measurements. All right? So we're going to do 2 inches. So I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. On a 12.5-inch ruler, I can get 6 cuts. I'm going to start with it on 12. Move it over to 10. To 8. 6. 4. And 2. So now I have all those strips cut. Whoops! Except that one. Okay. And it's not only used for cutting strips. When you lay them down to cut squares, you're going to do the same thing. Lay them down, line up on a horizontal line. Spin the mat. And I can do from 10, 8, 6, 4, and 2. Right? And so now I have all the squares that I need for my project. Right? I also don't do it with just one fabric. That would kind of seem wasteful to me. I'm going to usually do it with 4 fabrics and my 60 millimeter. All right? When my 60 millimeter blade is sharp, I can easily cut through 4 fabrics at 4 times, so that's 4 times 16 layers. Right? That's not a big deal. So I have all my squares cut at once. Right? The True Cut system comes in a 28, 45, and a 60 millimeter. Now there are a couple of things required here to make this work. The first is you have to have a sharp blade. Right? The other thing is you need to be a confident cutter. You need to know that when you're cutting through all your layers, because like you saw that last one that I didn't cut through, if you do that more than once, that's going to be more than a pain, right? So you want to be sure that you're a confident cutter. And the other thing is, it really doesn't work with measurements like 1 3/8. Because I can't add 1 3/8 plus 1 3/8 plus 1 3/8 plus 1 3/8 and actually back up with any speed whatsoever. It'd take me twice as long. So you got to do it with the simple whole size, half size, 1/4 inch size measurements. I did do it once where it was a log cabin, and for some reason I was doing 1 7/8 strips. I don't remember why. It seems kind of whack to me now. But I actually used the OmniGrid sticky tape, their glow tape, and I put the tape at all the measurements that I needed so that I could back it up and get the measurements that I needed. All right? That's power cutting.